Motion to come out of executive session?
Second. Okay, we have a motion second to come out of executive session. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So we'll go back to the regular meeting. First item on our agenda is a discussion item for 937 Old Country Road. Okay. This isn't a hearing. You can come up to the table.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been in front of the board before, and a couple of years back, and all my neighbors were okay with the fact that I wasn't really building anything on my lot. I was putting a little 5,000 square foot building. And I understand that there's, something else that you're requiring, or?
Would you like me to just kind of do a synopsis of the whole,
Yeah, I will say that, what brought this about, we had a number of members of the community over there come to one of our meetings, and, you know, they weren't aware of everything that was going on. For some reason or other, they didn't see the public notices. We answered, I would probably say 9 out of 10 of their questions, and the last one was remaining was some landscaping.
Right, the board had asked that I ask Mr., forgive me, is it Gruber or
Grover,
Grover?
Grover.
Mr. Grover to add some arborvitae, because the neighbors were concerned about lighting from other facilities on Route 58 and potential noise when the leaves fall off of the trees between the development and their homes. Just to kind of give you a synopsis of it. Basically, a transitional yard of 25 feet is required in this zoning district for this size building. So they're well exceeding that. They are going to be removing some woods. It varies from like 15 feet of woods to 40 feet of woods. However, this leaves a minimum of 69 feet of woods and a maximum of approximately 97 feet. So it's way more than the transitional yard required. The transitional yard requires a 6-foot stockade type fence or equal, and landscape plantings, or in the alternative, if the planning board feels it's appropriate, existing foliage. So I did stop by there today, and I had emailed board some pictures. I don't know if everybody got it, but it looks to be pretty extensive. Granted, it's deciduous, so it will come down, the leaves will come down in the winter. The applicant, correct me if I'm wrong, they do have a 6-foot chain link fence with slats proposed around the parking area. It was felt that would be a better idea than putting it along the property line, which is already fenced, and putting another fence would disturb what's there. So, I think Mr. Grover can say why he
Okay.
doesn't feel the
Well, I'm
arborvitae
just-
are appropriate. But they are proposing, instead of the chain link fence with slats, a PVC fence, which I had forwarded the picture of that.
This is across the street. I just went across the street. Those are cars parked behind a 6-foot fence. So what I have is, required is 25-foot buffer. I'm building it, my property's 400 feet wide. I can put, I think, a 300-foot building on it. I'm putting a 38-foot building so I don't disturb any of my neighbors. Basically, I have an envelope. I'm putting a little postage stamp in the corner. The rest is gonna remain empty. The other half is gonna remain empty. I'm giving them 70, by my building, with this 38 feet, it's 126 feet to their back fence. My buffer is, I'm required 25, I have 70, and I'm not building a building in 70, I'm parking a car in 70. I mean, it's not like I'm building a 2-story building, 70 feet. So, I mean, I can't do any less than that. I mean, if you look at the plan, this is the lot, I'm building it in a little tiny corner on the top there. I'm not building 15,000 square feet the way I'm permitted to. I'm building 5,000. The problem that I feel is that I've been working on this since 2007, and every time my neighbors, you know, I have a letter from one of my neighbors who lives back there. It's September 1st, 2007, and they had a meeting, and one of the neighbors said, as long as I live here, Mr. Grover will never build anything on this property. And he called me up the next day to tell me that, and I guess he's kinda correct. So I'm getting to the point where, I mean, if they want arborvitae, if you feel it's required, I mean, they have 75 feet, they have their backyard, their fence, 75 feet of what you call it, and the rest of the property has total property. If you feel that the privacy fence, after all of that isn't enough, then I'll put it. I mean, if that's, you require me, I'll do everything you require. That's all I can say, but I just think it's kind of unfair.
I think the neighbors, you know, the neighbors were the ones that voiced the.
Yes,
you
it's
know,
one neighbor.
you know,
No, there were a bunch here.
There was
there were
two,
quite a few
I know them personally, so,
And they
okay.
wanted the plantings, and, you know, it just occurs to me that if that keeps them happy,
Are we done? Like my father-in-law used to say to my mother-in-law, when she buys something, are we done? I mean, whatever, I throw my hands up, I mean,
I mean, we have to admit that the place looks absolutely horrible today.
listen, that's why I'm trying to do this, to clean this. I bought the property.
It's been a long time that they've been living with it.
Yeah.
You have to understand their frustration.
Yes, yeah.
And I know, you know, they live along commercial property and, you know, you can't avoid that, but,
Right.
you know, you're taking down trees, and, you know, Karen said that a lot of leaves are gonna be down in winter, so, you know, I would be a
Okay,
little concerned too, and if that's all they're asking for, like I said, they came in with a list of 10 things, and I think we answered as a board 9 out of 10 concerns that they
Right,
had, and the last one was the arborvitae's. We all kinda said, well, how much would a row of arborvitae's cost for him to do to get the project going? And-
Okay, if you feel, it's just and not unfair, then I'll do it. What can I
are
don't.
you saying instead of the arborvitae, that you would put this white plastic PVC
Oh, no,
fence?
this is going in, this is
No,
going in.
well, the plan shows a
Chain link,
chain link
Yeah.
with slats.
slats, privacy fence. I just happen to like this is much nicer, doesn't rust and bend, you can't, you know, it's, I went across the street and I said, there's a picture of.
Is that what would buffer between your property and
Yes,
and the?
that-
There would be
and-
the fence and then the woods, the
70 feet
remaining
of woods.
and then
Right.
their fences and,
And where the building is, it'd be this plus 126 feet of woods, so.
I mean, considering what we've done in the past,
Yeah, I mean, you know, to start that, then what happens is now you have to get them back in here. To start it all over again, well, Mr. Grover is now going to put a fence up.
Oh,
Well, I
no,
don't wanna see the fence.
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
you're putting the fence, I know the reason I would do the same thing.
Right.
If I were building it.
Right.
If they want the arborvitae's and that's, keeps them happy, I mean. that's-
Okay, I mean, I wanna be a good
We
neighbor.
can't tell
I
you
mean,
what to do.
I feel for my neighbors, I mean, I understand, that's why I'm not building on my lot. Technically, I feel I'm not building
Right.
anything. I mean, I could build 15,000 square feet there, and be well within my reason. I'm not doing it to try not to infringe on my neighbors, so that's, you know. But if you feel, the board feels that it's necessary, and it's not, excessive, as we say, then I'll put the arborvitae's in the woods, and then, I don't know how they're gonna grow, it being in the woods, but,
well, I think the idea would be to do it along the parking lot.
if that's what the board feels, I mean, I'm not gonna, split hairs, I've been working on this for, well, this has been probably.
again, it's not so much the board. You know, we asked your neighbors what they wanted.
Yeah.
and, You know, that's what they came back with.
Well, they don't want me to build on it, that's what they want.
Well,
That's technically what
again,
they want.
but-
This is how they're going about it by just stalling me and consuming all my
All right,
resources.
so if he agrees to do the arborvitae's,
I think everybody's happy.
Just
Okay,
so we're
fine.
all on the same page, does the board have any requirements for how tall they have to be at planting, or how far apart, or anything like that?
we typically put in at least 5 footers, right?
Okay. 10 foot on center?
I hate to bring this up, but then you'd have to consider, some form of irrigation until
Well,
they get going,
it's gonna be very difficult because
I mean, they're pretty strong without
Yeah,
irrigation,
yeah.
but while they're starting to grow, you don't wanna kill them either, because then they'll be back with, well, he put in 20, 30, 50, and 30 of them are dead,
Yes, I understand that, and that's probably, the other thing is, they have to be watered, they're gonna die, they're gonna have to be
But
changed.
we require this of everybody that comes in front of the board.
Well-
I mean, we made Costco put up a wall next to the mobile home park on Mill Road. I mean, that was a
Yeah.
huge expense, and landscaping in
Yeah,
front of it.
yeah. Well, if I was really building out my whole property, if I was building the whole lot, I would, absolutely you wouldn't have to ask me, I would put arborvitae there. But I'm building, like I said, in a little corner.
Right, but look what you have back there now, it's
Yeah, yeah.
absolutely horrible, and
Yeah,
people,
yeah.
and
No, I
the same
understand.
activity is gonna take place there, so.
That's why I'm here, that's why I'm
So
here.
I think that's what we'll do.
Okay.
Karen, I think
Okay.
10 foot on center is way too far apart. I mean,
Okay.
it'll take 20 years for them to grow in, so they should be
Okay.
tighter than that.
6 foot?
There we go. All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Good luck.
All right, thank you, Karen.
You're welcome.
Okay, next item on the agenda is a discussion item for minor subdivision of Henry Silverman. Sure, come on up.
Mr. Cuddy gonna come?
No.
Everybody knows about it?
Yes.
You know, okay.
Yeah, we're willing to
Okay.
accept it as written.
Perhaps if I could fill the board in, there have been a number of discussions on this application. As you may recall, it's been adjourned from time to time for discussions about the pond area and how that affects the buildability of the lots. And so we crafted a resolution which has been reviewed by Mr. Silverman as well as his attorney and Mr. Mercury as well. And we feel that it addresses the fact that the subdividing of the land does not determine the location and the method of the building on those lots. That will be left to a future site plan review and a specific section of your code that requires the building inspector to evaluate the method of construction of any building that's adjacent in the wetland area. There's a 100-foot setback and a 150-foot setback in between the 100 and 150 foot. If he chooses to build in that area, he has to meet the building inspector's criteria for foundation, height of mechanicals and those issues, which I think Mr. Silverman understands.
Yeah.
And we went over with Mr. Cuddy the other day. So I don't know what further discussion we really have to have. You've had your hearings and it's been before you, so I.
So we did look at the resolution, and as long as everyone's in agreement, we'll take it up for a vote tonight.
Thank you.
Okay? Thank you. You are in agreement and your attorney's in agreement, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Next discussion item, NERP Tractor Supply. Okay.
All right, as you recall, the planning board has previously approved a 3-lot minor subdivision as well as a site plan application, which approved a Tractor Supply retail center consisting of 19,000 square feet of retail with additional unidentified tenants yet. As a function of the subdivision, it was a 3-lot minor subdivision with 2 approximately 5-acre lots which had frontage on Middle Country Road. and the creation of more or less a flag lot which served as a common access road to the Tractor Supply site, any future development on the western side of the common access road, and which would also serve as access to the Sky Materials site located to the south of the Tractor Supply site. Just as a matter of practicality, during construction, the applicants noted that and Mr. Montecalvo noted that the access road that they had provided towards the southern end of the terminus wasn't really suitable to get the heavy types of industrial traffic safely out of the site. So they are now coming in for a redesigned traffic pattern. What they're now proposing, instead of heavy industrial traffic going straight down to the southern terminus point, they would now come in off of Middle Country Road, and there would be an additional curb cut on the western side of the common access road, which would then have a temporary roadway on that western parcel, and then it would allow them to initiate a less steep of a slope in order to more easily get the vehicles down. In terms of the revised access point would be located approximately 220 feet south of Middle Country Road along the common access road. The plan indicates that the temporary roadway would consist of a 25-foot wide granular traffic base for truck traffic to property at rear. The site plan does not indicate any details of the paving specifications which will be required. The roadway needs to be able to maintain the 75,000-pound weight limit in all weather conditions to allow for emergency vehicle access. It's also noted that the site plan does not include any sort of transition from this granular base into the common roadway, which could lead to just dirt and sediment being tracked into the roadway. So one of the recommendations is that the plan needs to include a suitable transition between the granular base and the common roadway. The plan also indicates a 20-foot wide double swing gate at the common access road. Staff has no objections to the location of the gate, but the gate would need to be widened to a minimum of 24 feet and possibly wider to allow for emergency vehicle access. There would also need to be a Knox box or a Knox lock, some way to ensure that emergency vehicles can get down to the rear of that site.
Yeah, Greg, also, remember to put a sign up, so when the gate is open, tourists and shoppers don't end up going down the private road, so some kind of sign indicating private property or no, whatever, no trash, whatever.
That makes sense.
Greg, is that proposed secondary roadway on the same parcel, or does it go onto a different parcel?
No, so the temporary access road would actually traverse the western parcel.
Different lot.
Different lot, which would require a temporary access easement. Even though Mr. Montecalvo owns the property would be encumbered by this access road. So his attorney should draft up some sort of access easement. It should include language that if this parcel is ever developed, that road would be abandoned and they would be required to have a redesign through that original southern terminus.
That's our only access to the lot. New York State will not allow another curb cut. So that was the whole purpose of the common road to begin with.
And the location of their temporary roadway does line up with one of the access points for the Tractor Supply site. So if for further development, it would line up nicely. The plan does show traffic barrels at the end of the southern terminus of the roadway. There were a couple of comments that we got from Vinnie Gaudiello, the town's consulting engineer. One, that they need to demonstrate that the proposed alignment for the roadway allows heavy vehicle traffic and emergency vehicle access. He again noted the access easement. He recommended a barrier a little more substantial than Jersey, other than traffic barrels, perhaps a Jersey barrier, I believe Mr. Montecalvo was amenable to. And he also said that the roadway needs to be detailed in terms of the paving specifications. So in closing, really, staff has no objections to the proposed concept. They just need to tighten up a couple of the details. And then, we need to get a copy of that access easement. And I think I would recommend approval of it once they hammer out those details.
The grade that you said that it's an obstacle for you at the end of the access road, how steep of a drop-off is that? I don't think the topo's shown on here, is it? Or do you know what it is?
I don't know exactly, but the existing slope is very significant. What we're doing is pulling the roadway further westward so that we have more time to make up the grade,
Right.
so.
I only ask because if a car or a truck does go down there at night, I mean, are they gonna fall off a cliff and just go through a barrel, or they would just go down that hill
The
instead?
transition there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the southern terminus of the roadway is at about 83, and then it kind of slopes down. So it's not like precipitous where they would just
Yeah, it's
fall off.
not a cliff.
It's a number of feet, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's it. You know, if the board's in agreement, you know, we can make the required changes. We can have it approval for a resolution.
Okay.
Good idea that Ed had to put a sign
Yeah, the
in.
sign, and just, you don't want them cars coming into the city anyway.
All right, thank you.
Good luck, fellas.
Thank you very much.
Okay, up to the public hearings on the agenda. First public hearing tonight is Calverton Distribution. If you could just go up to the podium, do we have the affidavit of posting? Just your name for the record, please.
Name is Gary Krupnik, managing member, the LLC.
Is that mic on?
Yeah.
Okay. He's on now.
This is at the end of what was originally proposed to subdivide the 30-some odd acres on 25. Initially, to expedite, the town was good enough on an IDA to allow us to do a ground lease for the pod structure, which is incomplete and operating, I think, fairly well. Town had some comments earlier, several months ago. They were addressed, and I think to everybody's satisfaction. We've moved forward with the subdivision. Health Department has signed off on it, and we have some prospects for some of the commercial lots, and we'd like to proceed forward with that at this point in time. Road is in, water is in, electricity's been brought across, and I think that's where we're at this point in time.
Could you just maybe get into a little bit more detail? I mean, we know about it, we've sat with you, but assume that the public really doesn't know. This Main Road Calverton, the site is already being used by the pod storage.
Correct.
And exactly what you're proposing to do beyond that.
Right, it's rectilinear piece. If you start at the back end of it, as far back as you can, there's an existing solar farm that was there when we got involved with it. Moving forward towards the road, then there's enough ground for us to generate 2 6+ acre lots, which would be developed industrially using the IA systems for septic. There's no requirement, there's no need for that size lot for us to get involved with any Pine Barren certificates or anything like that at this point in time. There's one road that will be maintained as a private road and shared by all of the tenants on it. That'll generate from the back end, it'll be the solar farm that's there for some 20 years total, and that's pretty buried in the back. And then you've got 2 industrial lots that we're proposing to subdivide now, about 6+ acres each, and then moving forward towards 25 and the entrance to the what will be the industrial park, you have about a 40,000 square foot pods building, which is just passive storage, and so operating very, very well. It's extremely well set back from 25, and it's screened well at this board's request.
Okay, any questions from the board? No. Public have any questions on this public hearing? Any questions from the public? Okay.
Make a motion to close the public hearing of Calverton Distribution, so moved.
Second. Okay, motion made and seconded to close the public hearing. Calverton Distribution, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, public hearing is closed. Thank you.
Did you say that you put an IA system in?
No, they wouldn't, right?
We, on the 2 lots behind the pods building, we've agreed with the health department that we would do an IA system if they wanted it. That's fine. We're just completing another 45,000 square feet in the town of East Hampton right now, and we did use an IA system with that, worked out fine.
Okay, next public hearing is Blue Water Development. Have the postings for this?
Sean Walter for the applicant, 1938 Wading River Manor Road, Wading River, New York. I do have principals of the owner here today. This is a public hearing to construct a 6,875-foot square warehouse building, slab on grade at 313 Edwards Avenue in Calverton. You've actually seen this application before. It's been kicking around a long time. My clients have recently purchased the property. The application completely conforms to zoning. It has Suffolk County Health Department approval pending your SEQR resolution. It has Pine Barrens Commission approval. It completely conforms to the surrounding uses for the area. Again, it's an as-of-right use. The project did previously receive ARB approval. There were some slight modifications to the windows to reduce the size of the windows. I'm asking the planning board if you would consider passing judgment on this so we don't have to go back to the ARB. We did resubmit it to the ARB in April, but we were told that until you heard it, the ARB couldn't hear it. And since the ARB is advisory, and they have seen it, and the window modifications were relatively minor, we're asking you to dispense with resending it back to the ARB. At this particular point, we're trying to get this project moved forward and get a shovel in the ground before winter. I don't know if you have any questions. It's about as simple a site plan as you can get in this particular area, meeting all the requirements of the town code.
Do you have a copy of the elevations with you?
I do.
March 7th, 2019?
Let's see, that's probably right. Would you like a copy?
Please.
I have,
The board wants it.
I have three.
Karen's go.
When was this first submitted? You said it's been hanging around a while.
This application was submitted, probably 2014 or 15. We've seen it before, and we've been to public hearing on it before, but your board decided to go to public hearing again. Okay,
One
you
of the
have-
major issues was the Pine Barrens Commission, and they finally got their hardship letter.
Pretty straightforward.
I think it's a very tastefully done warehouse building. Fits completely into the character of the neighborhood.
Where exactly is 313? I mean, I know where it is, but just for the record.
It is, 313 is right next to the school bus yard, the Riverhead Central School District. It is surrounded by the Riverhead Central School District bus yard. And then there's a nice little white Victorian house next to it. But really, it's between the school bus yard and Hampton Jitney. So if you think about it, a trade warehouse, they're a horticultural management firm. There's not much else that you can put in here, because you've got Hampton Jitney buses starting all morning, all day, and Riverhead school buses starting all morning. So it's, yeah, this is a good use for this particular area.
What's the length of the building? It's not on the elevations.
Height.
And the width is, but not the length.
The length is not on the site plan?
Well, no, I'm looking at the elevation.
125 feet,
Thank you.
55 feet wide.
Wide. The height is. And will you have public water?
Yes. There's actually water on the site for the house, servicing the house that will be demolished.
Any other questions? Any questions from the public or comments? Okay.
Was the board okay with the windows, or did you want the ARB to?
Can we take a closer look and let you know?
Sure, that's fine.
Okay.
Just this would, as I said, I don't
We
understand
won't
why
hold you up.
change happened, because we could've had that taken care of, but the change happened and it slowed us down, could slow us down considerably.
Make a
When would we-
motion to, anything else?
No, I just wanna know when you would pass judgment on the ARB issue.
Very soon.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Make a motion to close the public hearing of Blue Water Development, so
Second.
moved.
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded to close the public hearing, Blue Water Development. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Public hearing is closed.
Thank you, Karen and gentlemen.
Awesome, thank you.
Okay, next public hearing, 406 Osborne Avenue. Okay. We have the.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Name is Thomas Kramer, principal firm of Kramer Consulting Group with office at 54 North Country Road, Miller Place. We are here today on a site plan that has been before you for a while. It's on the northwest corner of Osborne and Pulaski. It's a little less than half an acre site. We're proposing a 9,000, a little over 9,000 square foot building with half of it on the first floor is retail space, and the other half is on the second story, and we have 6 one-bedroom apartments, ranging in size from about a little over 500 square feet to almost 700 square feet. The plan, we do have, it is village center zoned, and it conforms to all the requirements. There was a BZA hearing on this. We were 2 spaces short, but because of the parking to the north, the public parking to the north, the board granted it. They did put a condition on the application that there be cut-throughs to access the parking to the north, which we show on the site plan. If you look at the site plan, there's a rail fence with 2 holes in it, or 2 areas for people to walk through, and then the plantings also allow people to walk through. The ARB did approve this, the project. Our architect met with them. They had some comments, and those were revised to reflect their comments. And that's pretty much it. If the board has any questions, I'd be glad to try to answer them.
So that was the only variance you needed, was the 2 parking stalls?
Yes. Yeah, we're proposing to keep the Polish Town sign on site. We've moved that over into the corner, and that meets all the setback requirements, and so that will be preserved.
What's the minimum square footage for apartments for the village center? Is there a minimum?
I don't know, but this has been reviewed. I'm assuming that this all fits in there. It's, the smallest we have is
I saw-
527.
I see it here, yeah.
Yeah.
But I just wondered what the minimum was.
I don't know,
Whether it
maybe-
was 500 or 550 or something like that.
Craig can address that.
I know there's requirements in the DC1 zoning district that are detailed in the code, but I did not see anything about minimum apartment sizes in the village center zoning
Yeah,
district.
I don't recall any, but that's,
No, right now, to my knowledge, there's no minimum size requirements in the
I
village
have
center.
a problem with the size.
excuse me?
I have a problem with the size. I think they're much too small.
Well, that's, I know you've said that
I said that
at the last
at
hearing
our,
too. But there is a market for them, and
I've got a den that's 400 square feet. It doesn't have a bathroom. I don't know how anybody can live in 527 square feet. I really don't. That's why.
Any other comments or questions from the board?
No.
Anyone from the public? 406 Osborne Avenue, corner of Pulaski. Any public comment? Okay.
Make a motion to close the public hearing of 406 Osborne, so moved.
Second?
Motion made and seconded to close the public hearing, 406 Osborne. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Thank you very
Public hearing is
much.
closed. Thank you. Okay, fourth public hearing on the agenda tonight is Ruggiero's in Wading River.
If I could, with your liberty, Mr. Thomas's plan for the last project, I'll put down.
Did you hear that, Peter? No.
I did hear it, I guess I put it in the wrong spot. And I am getting a hard of hearing, so appreciate the question. My name is Pete Danowski. Address is 616 Roanoke Avenue, Riverhead, New York. I do represent Mr. Ken Barra, who's the principal behind this project. In attendance is Matt Jedlicka, who's our design professional, who's been with this project for approximately the last year. Just by way of information, Ken Barra owns the shops at Wading River, or his entity does, and he found that the outside brick area to the west of Ruggiero's restaurant was in need of some form of covering in hot temperatures, and we had many days of extremely high temperatures. People just could not sit outside in the area.
Do you have tables out there?
Pardon me?
He had tables out there?
Yeah, he had some places for people to sit. And he also was thinking about the need to keep people out of the rain as well as the heat. So he explored concepts of tents, and we came up with a product that is not quite a greenhouse, but allows for the side walls to go up and down and the roof to move. And so it looked like a wonderful product to come up with. And we met with planning staff, as I said, approximately a year ago to begin discussions as to what it would take. Coincidentally, at the same time, Ken had picked up in what I considered an out parcel and a house that was in really, really bad need of repair, and it sat on Sound Avenue, sort of between East Wind and the shops. With permission of the town building department, he cleaned up the area, made it look nice, and it became a more attractive small building. When we went through the discussions with planning staff and said we'd like to do this outside enclosure that would be seasonal in nature, it was discussed, and we decided that we would agree to merge what was then the house parcel and provide the additional town-required parking on this house parcel site. We then had a discussion about what would you do with that small house structure, and we said we would use it for our own purposes for storage, not for public storage, but just for storage for Ken's use. So that is the project. It allows for an enclosure. It allows for additional parking required by the town. It would require, if approved, a merger of the lot, the small parcel lot, which would be used for Ken's own personal, not public storage. Going through planning staff report, and this board is aware, we were at a public work session rather recently, and we reviewed some comments contained in the report. We have resubmitted the site plan to address Karen Glut's comments, and they addressed a number of issues, all of which have been corrected on the plans. I'm hopeful that we'll be able to close the hearing tonight so we can conclude the process and have an approval resolution. I do note county planning had the plan referred, or at least the earlier plan referred to them. That was contained in staff notes. And I would say we are in the health department, or about to be there with regard to the sanitary system and the public water situation. So we feel very comfortable. We have surrendered Pine Barrens credits for the health department, and we're ready for an approval from that agency. We did, as a matter of improving the facility that served the single-family house, we had abandoned an old sanitary system and gained permission from the health department to upgrade the system for the house when it was used as a house, and that's been completely signed off by the health department. So someone made inquiry. We did appear before the Architecture Review Board. And as you understand, we had to go there and receive their recommendations. They, at least verbally to me, recommended approval of the elevations. The color of the material, as I identified it as white, is actually vanilla white. We tried to match up the white color that already exists on the existing Ruggero's restaurant building. I have nothing further to say.
How many seats will you then have total for the restaurant?
We will, it's reflected in
Existing plus-
Karen
They're
Gluth's.
taking some seating outside of the restaurant and putting it outdoors in this structure. So they're going to have 128 indoor seats and 88 outdoor seats. So that would keep the wastewater density the same. However, Suffolk County Health Department has to approve the addition, because they said even if the seating is the same, it's still considered an additional square footage. And they'd have to approve the change of use for the house to a commercial storage use.
That's absolutely correct, and that's noted in some of Karen's review, and was probably even discussed at the work session. And that application will, be promptly reviewed by the health department, and any approval from you will be subject, as staff report indicates, will be subject, to approval before a building permit issues.
You had mentioned the need to meet required parking.
Right.
Which you're gonna use for the house that you're converting.
That's
Is that
correct.
because of the seating at the restaurant?
That's correct. We had an evaluation through the planning staff review and the building department review, and they came up with the required parking, and we meet the required parking if we provide it at that parcel.
Just so the board knows, it was originally approved for 66 indoor seats and 32 outdoor seats. And at some point, they went to the health department and through the use of TDRs got, I believe, 156 indoor and 32 on the patio. So they're kind of rejiggering the seating so that they don't have to get more TDRs.
Is it a four-season building or three-season?
Pardon me?
Is it a four-season condition?
We're not gonna be there in the wintertime. It would, the structure and we would open up the roof.
Yeah, it's not insulated. Well, my personal opinion is, anything Kenny Barrett does usually comes out better than one could expect. I wish more people with projects coming forward would take the initiative that he does to make them really top-notch.
Thank you.
Okay, any other comments from the board, questions? No. Public? Any public comments or questions on Ruggero's?
I'll make a motion, we close the public hearing on Ruggero's.
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded to close the public hearing for Ruggero's. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Public hearing is closed.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, before we take up the resolutions, are there any public comments on the resolutions? One?
I understand there's a resolution regarding the typing of Central Square. I understand the town's position and staff's position. I would like to put my comments on record. This is the same or similar comment that I made before. This was a fully approved project that had expired, and expired because the town code provision says you need a building permit, and we did not pull a building permit. However, we had dedicated, by way of a conservation easement, the back half of this property, and we had given a cross-access easement. And because apparently the town amended its code to say if you have more than 50 parking spaces, we consider that a type 1 action. You have to coordinate review. And I wonder what happens if you were in the midst of an application before the legislation was passed, but hadn't been finally approved. Would you be in a better position? Because you would then be grandfathered. And to pass this around again and coordinate review, just seems insane to me, but I've made my comment. That's it for tonight. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Just so the board is aware that there was quite a few discussions with myself and Mr. Ayers, and he's reviewed the resolution, and this is approved by him.
Okay. Karen, you had mentioned that there were some amendments to some resolutions?
Not this one.
Do
Not
you wanna,
this
can
one.
you just, so we can just keep going, just tell us which ones?
4 and 5.
4 and 5? And what were the changes in 4 and 5?
Okay. For Mary Ellen Real Estate, Riverhead Chrysler Jeep Ram, that was only to change on page 3. It was supposed to read "do not enter signs," and it says "do enter signs."
So that's number 3 on the agenda,
Number
right?
three.
That's-
83?
Oh, I'm sorry.
83, right?
No, it's number 4 on my agenda, 83.
There was a change in the
Okay.
agenda.
Okay.
Old news.
So that's that one.
Okay, so
And
that's
then,
just grammar.
Target Modernization, which I have as 2019-084
Yes.
for administrative site plan approval. On page 3, I put traffic aisles instead of access aisles. So I want to correct that. On page 3, I indicated they're going to retrofit the fixtures, the lighting fixtures. It should have been the lamps. And then on page 2, there was some confusion because the condition said show and label actual locations of required fire lane signage every 50 feet. So instead of actual, I'm gonna put existing/proposed. And then there's just a typo on page 4 where it says, proof lacks the F. So, that's it.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so you wanna start with the first one?
I'll make a motion to move resolution number 81 for Central Square, Wading River, so moved.
Second?
Okay, motion made and seconded to approve resolution 81 for Central Square at Wading River. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is approved. Number 2 on the agenda.
I'll make a motion that we move resolution 82 to claim lead agency status and issue a negative declaration to SECR. So moved. Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded to approve resolution 82 for Riverhead Retail Partners LLC. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Just got a quick comment. We just had Kenny Bauer up here and makes beautiful projects. I tried to have included that the exterior colors should be pastels only. I don't think I got any support for that, but 7-Elevens are not known for having beautiful, lush landscaping and taking really good care of the locations. Some do, but most don't. I've been looking at a lot of them lately. So I think we could make this better, and we're not, so I'm going to have to abstain.
Well, this one, Ed, I don't think we disagree. This is just for the SECR, so it's not the preliminary. So I don't know that we made a final decision on that yet.
Preliminary.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
haven't reviewed the revised plan, so I would be looking at these items before we go to preliminary.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think we disagreed on that.
Okay, all right, well, I'll vote yes on it also then.
Okay, all in favor?
But I do wanna bring
Yeah.
that back
Aye.
up.
Aye. Opposed? Resolution's approved.
I'll move resolution number 83, Mary Ellen Real Estate, for the Riverhead Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram dealers on Old Country Road.
As amended. Second?
Okay, motion made and seconded to approve resolution 83 as amended for Mary Ellen Real Estate, Riverhead Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Resolution is approved.
Resolution number 84, Target Modernization, administrative site plan for approval of facade refresh, including red EFIS cladding addition, retrofitting, and parking lot, amongst other things.
I just wanted to clarify, this wasn't updated. It's gonna be red EFIS for one panel and the gray EFIS for the other.
Okay.
And it's as amended.
Second as amended.
Okay, motion made and seconded, approve resolution 84 for Target administrative site plan approval. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Resolution's approved.
I'll move resolution 85 for Dune Warehouse, granting the preliminary site plan approval. So moved.
Second the motion?
Motion made and seconded to approve resolution 85 for Dune Warehouse. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is approved.
I'll move resolution 86 for Kaywood's subdivision and then scheduling a public hearing.
Second.
A motion made and seconded to approve Resolution 86, Kaywood subdivision public hearing. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Resolution's approved.
Resolution 87, 609 Northville Turnpike. Resolution granting approval for two-lot minor subdivision application seeking to subdivide the existing .505 acre parcel of land.
Second motion.
Motion made and seconded to approve Resolution 87 for 609 Northville Turnpike. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is approved. Number 8.
Move resolution number 10 of the Reading Planning Board for minor subdivision of Henry Silverman, so moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve Resolution 10, minor subdivision of Henry Silverman. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution's approved. Okay, any public comment on any matter in front of the planning board? Anyone wish to address the board? Okay,
Make a motion that we move the planning board minutes of August 15th, 2019, so moved.
Second.
okay, motion made and seconded to approve the minutes of August 15th, 2019. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. Next meeting is Thursday, September 19th at 3 PM. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Have a good night.
We did it, we made it. Wow. Tell you what, we're all those.